Yeah, so short while ago we discussed about best practice modification. So in general, if I see Aspice 4.0, I could see that now the best practice related to traceability and consistency have been merged. So in your opinion, would that be good or it's more confusing now?
Hmm. Okay, I mean, when we get into the detailed processes, of course, we will talk again in detail about this particular topic. But having said that, in my opinion, there is no problem in combining traceability and consistency, because at the end of the day, it is just that two base practices are combined together and made one. There's no other big difference, because earlier, because see, the only difference, okay, now again, we have to see who is impacted by this. Again, two groups. First one is the project team which is leaving. Does it make any difference to them? No, no difference. They have to do a traceability. They have to ensure the consistency to make sure that they are tracing the right requirement to a right test case, or they are deriving a right requirement from a right higher level requirement. So they have to do it earlier or now, no difference. They have to do it. But for the assessor, there's a difference, because earlier they used to rate two base practices. Now they are rating only one base practice instead of two. So there is a difference for assessor. But having said that, even on the traceability level, there is a major change in the ASPICE 4.0. The major change is in the earlier VDA guideline. You know, I'm not talking about the current one, which is 2.0. The earlier VDA guideline, the granularity of the traceability was at the each requirement level or at the each test case level. But with the new VDA guideline 2.0, the granularity has been reduced to the cluster. It doesn't need to be in the individual requirement level, which means you can group, I mean, you can trace a cluster of requirement to a cluster of test cases anymore. Okay, so that is a big difference, because there was also some feedback taken from the community, because in complex projects, when you have thousands of requirement, tracing them to thousands of test cases individually takes a lot of effort, and maybe in some cases it also didn't bring much of a value. But now they said cluster of requirements can be, on a cluster approach can be followed. Now it may be a bit easier, it may make life a bit easier for the project teams, because it may be a bit of a less work for them, but it is a lot more complex for an assessor. Now if at all, as an assessor, if I see 50 requirements traced to some 50 test cases as a cluster, now to ensuring the consistency is going to be a lot more difficult, because now I have to go much more deeper to see if every line of a requirement has been covered by one of the other test cases or not, because the granularity is at the cluster level, and that's going to make life of a assessor a bit more difficult. But having said that, there is always a pros and cons. If one approach is liked by one group, may not be liked by other group. So far assessors have liked how the traceability was done, but now I think the project teams would like the new approach. But yeah, so that is a kind of a difference.